Hi team 50 and over, or 50 and classy dating. I wanted to just come on for a moment because I just had a situation that happened and it just made me kind of think about us, think about this group, and just circumstantial things that happen with people. So my company had their holiday party today and I went to the party, and on the way back, I was like, I need to get gas because I have things to do tomorrow and I didn't want to have to worry about gasoline in the morning. And I was thinking my timeline is going to run kind of back to back, so I'm going to stop and get gas today. So I got off the expressway in one place, and when I got off, I was like, nah, I'm gonna go closer to home. And so I just hopped right back on the expressway. I had gotten a phone call while I was getting off to get gas that kind of detoured me, and I said, well, let me just pray with this person and I'll pray on the way to the next gas station. So when I get to the next gas station, I come off the interstate, and I'm in Atlanta. When I come off the interstate, I go to the gas station and I pull up as you normally would, and I get ready to pump my gas. Well, there's a lady that pulled up, and she and I are walking into the store together. I paid for my gas outside, and I went in to purchase something else. And so I'm standing there, and she's at the register trying to pay for her gasoline. And so she's like, you can tell she's agitated. She has this card and she's trying to run the card, and the card is not going through. And so she's like, I know this number. And then she said, just give me a minute. And so she continues to try to pay for the gas. And so finally the guy asked me for the items that I had. He's kind of like bypassing her. And so I looked out at her pump and I just said, I'm going to get that, and I want $10 on number 3. And so he said, oh, well, then I can just take you over there. And I paid for her $10 worth of gas. And she turned around and she hugged me and she just said, you don't know how much I needed that. And I'm telling you guys this story because in this group, many of us are 50 and above. We all should be 50 and above. And some of us have been through some things and circumstances that you don't know what put that person in that position. And I can only think about my own self. When I went through my divorce, I was 50 years old, and it was hard from 45 to 50 trying to make a decision whether or not I was going to leave that marriage or stay in it, just because I had reached the age limit that I did not want to start over in life. And I'm saying that to you because when I made a decision to come out of an unhealthy situation, it put me in a position like I knew that I was going to struggle. I knew that financially it was going to be difficult. And I'm trying not to cry because there were days that I was sitting at the gas pump and I was trying to figure out how I was going to put gas in my car, and checking one card and checking another card. And sometimes I read some of our comments, and yes, at 50 years old, people should have everything together. But some of us in this group have had challenges that didn't happen in our life until we became 50 or close to it. And when you think about starting all over again, you think about starting your whole life over, everything that you've done. If you've worked on a job 20 years, or you think about it, many people in this group have been married 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, some, and are starting over. So there is sometimes a process that we can look at, that everybody is always not their circumstantial situation just based on their age. And for me, it was just reflective that not so long ago, that had been me. And the way she hugged my neck, she said, I needed that, and I just said, Merry Christmas. And in my head, I really thought, because I did it so impulsively, I was thinking, well, I could have bought $15 or $20 worth for her, and I just wanted to sow a seed. And I'm saying that to us because as we explore the opportunity of finding love again, we have to be very cautious that it may not be that a person has not had. It may be that they did have and they had to give that up. And in many cases, even I saw one post one day that was talking about houses or how a person lives. And, I thought about the men in this group. Many men, if they were in a solid relationship or they were married for 10 or 20 years, they may have had to give up their house in the process of coming out of that relationship. And that is a very difficult thing for a man to start all over in his 50s. Sometimes that is why they do stay. And even with us as women, I know for me, it was a financial component that I knew that we needed. I needed both household incomes in order to live the lifestyle that we had. And I didn't live anything that was elaborate. It was just my basic needs. I knew that I was going to struggle. But what I will say is that I had to make a decision that it was more important for me to have a healthy, viable relationship with myself than it was for me to have an unhealthy, manageable relationship with someone that did not want to be in a relationship. And I have had more peace. I am more of a whole person at this point in my life. But I just wanted to share with you guys that we have to be cautious of what seasons people have come through in order to even be where we are. And that might even mean that some of us might not even be ready for dating. I have done the work over the past 5 years to prepare myself for being able to be on a dating scene or in a dating environment. And that is because I've been intentional with certain things that I know I tolerated in my previous marriage that I would not tolerate now. There are conversations that are going to happen very early in the stages of me meeting someone, and I expect for him to have conversations with me as well. So the expectation that I'm going to give, I'm expecting to receive, there is an accountability that is in place for that. And so I just really wanted to have us to be thoughtful about how we respond to people's texts or messages on this thread, and making sure that we don't never know what circumstance that person may have gone through to get to where they were. I don't know what that lady's situation or circumstance was, but what I know is when I drove away from that parking lot, it brought tears to my eyes. Like literally by the time I drove out of the lot, I was just boo-hooing, because I remember not too long ago when my children were sitting in the car and I was trying to figure out, how am I going to make sure that these lights stay on? And God has provided. He has given me more than enough to be able to do. And my trust factor, my faith has increased in these years. But it still didn't take away the process that I had to go through in order to get to where I am today. And so I just want you guys to be encouraged that as you are vetting people, make sure that you're listening to their story, not the sob stories, not people just trying to get over on somebody, but some people have been through some real issues. That struggle is real, to start your life all over again at 50 years old. And so I just hope that you guys have a great evening and you enjoy the holidays that are coming up with your family and friends. Have a good night.